Hello, my name is Paul Tucker. I've been making comics here in St. John's for many decades now. My story in the anthology is set in Rabbit Town. It's called Rabbit Town, and very simply because that is where I currently live. I think it's the whole premise of the anthology is awesome because everybody can just step out their front door and find a story. So when it came time to cook up something for Rabbit Town, a place which is full of characters, I didn't have much trouble coming up with an idea.
My name is Wallace Roy, and I'm a comic book artist here in St. John's, Newfoundland, and I'm working on a couple of pieces for the book about comics about St. John's, my hometown, which I love very much. I've been a comic book artist since 1979. We actually, myself and my friend Jerry Porter, did the first comic book in Newfoundland. And I now work with Paul Tucker and various other artists among the local community, and I teach comics here. My comics I've set in my own neighborhood, my local neighborhood. It's downtown. It's an area called Rollins Cross, so it's right next to one of the most complex intersections in the city.
Hi there, my name is Kelly Basto. I'm a traditional illustrator from Conception Bay South. I chose Signal Hill because it's a really iconic part of St. John's, and every time I go up there, it's so beautiful and majestic, and I've had a few kind of moving experiences when I've been up there, and it's always a dazzling sight, unless it's fogged in and then you can't see anything.
Hi there, my name is Kevin Woolridge. I'm from Goulds, Newfoundland. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. Primarily I work in theater and also in cartooning. I chose to set my story in the Goulds, which is a neighborhood of St. John's, a suburb. We actually amalgamated in 1989. This is where I grew up. We actually moved into the Goulds when I was 10 years old, so I spent most of my life here, and I'm still living here right now. It's a farming community, and it's just a beautiful little place, and I think it's quite special.
Hi, my name is Mike Fian. I'm one of the artists contributing to the St. John's Comics Anthology. My story is set in the Churchill Park neighborhood of St. John's. Churchill Park is the neighborhood that I grew up in. I went to Gonzaga High School. I went to St. Pius X Elementary. I spent a lot of my childhood in Churchill Park and in Churchill Square. So it's still my favorite neighborhood in town. Rennie's River Trail is great. If I could afford it, I would buy a house there, but it's become a very sought after neighborhood. But it still has a very special place in my heart, despite the fact that I haven't lived there in probably 15 years at this point. But I miss it. It's great.
Oh, hi there. I didn't see you come in. My name's Andrew Hawthorne. This is my studio here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. I was born here. I was born in Springdale, raised in St. John's. I chose to set my story in the Somerville neighborhood. Somerville is the name for my neighborhood. I grew up here. It's near the university and the Avalon Mall. I hope you enjoy kind of a trip down memory lane for me in the neighborhood I grew up in, with a little bit of magical realism and some Arthurian mythology sprinkled on top of that.
Hello there, my name is Samuel Din. There wasn't a particular neighborhood that I chose to set my story. Rather, I chose to set my story in different coffee shops that I frequent. The reason why I did this is quite simple. I love coffee. I drink far, far too much of the wonderful stuff.
Hi, my name is Leon Chung. I am a local artist and writer in beautiful Newfoundland. And my main focus is children's books, and the most recent of which was released in 2023, called SS Analogy, which was nominated for a Yellow Cedar Award in 2024. So for my short story, I decided to set it in Georgetown. The title of my short story is called Georgetown Haunt, and it's about a spirit who is haunting a girl named Clara, and she's annoyed by the ghost, but she just can't afford to live anywhere else, so she decides to stick it out. And the story was partly inspired when I had attended a couple of Mummers Festival that was set in Georgetown. I walked around the streets and I just thought that there's so much personality, such colorful houses. The neighborhood is just so just drenched in history, and I just thought that would be absolutely perfect for Georgetown Haunt.